Welcome, Thanksgiving night. It is. And here we are at Spellbound Wagers. We're so glad to have you with us. We hope you all had a great day and enjoyed your Thanksgiving. And I'm here, Jesse James, with my colleague, Wild Bill Money. And I got to tell you, Wild Bill, I don't know if there's any better weekend in my mind than Thanksgiving weekend with all the sports, horse racing, etc.
Yeah, what a phenomenal 4 days in a row for sports. If you get the right information for betting football or um, horse racing, whatever you guys want to do, but we're going to offer um, a package that's still available if you just put in the code for getting your free Spellbound Wagers bucks, Spellbound loot. Then you can get our free picks for the next 3 days. Like, it'll be free. So we're looking forward to you guys signing up for that.
And we've got some good ones the next 3 days. And I wanted to say, Wild Bill, last night it was so funny because I was handicapping late last night. And I end up staying up till 2:30 because there's so many games with this college basketball tournaments going on. I'm going through all these games and I'm up till 2:30 handicapping, trying to figure this out, that out, and so forth. And I know in the back of my mind that I got my Dayton Flyers in action at 9 a.m. Pacific this morning. And what I was trying to do is not bet the game early. I wanted to wait as late as I could to get the best of the line, to get the most points. So, I'm so nervous all night, that, I gotta get up to bet this game. I'm worrying about it. I'm having dreams about the Dayton Flyers. I don't want to miss it, and sure enough, they won outright 76-60. It was a great winner today.
Oh, that's so beautiful when things work out like that, and
I know when a plan comes
worried
together,
about
right?
getting the bet in and all that. So,
And I wish I'd have dabbled some money on the money line, but I didn't have enough courage to do that. It would have been nice. But since you bring that up, that's one thing about college basketball, and sometimes it's hard to do, but you get so many bigger underdogs, like in the 5 to 10 range, getting that many points that win outright, that you can get a fabulous price on those underdogs. So, but it's always hard to turn down the points, it gives you some cushion. But so it was a good day today, all in all, other than my VMI key debts was my only loser. So I was happy.
yeah, you were like 8-1 as far as what I recall.
Yeah, I had a good day today. I was really
Thanksgiving Day
fortunate
was
again.
good.
We've been on a good roll. I'd like to keep it going that way. And
Yeah.
as I recall, I think we should rehash the race 5 at Del Mar. That was so exciting with Win Often's performance with Diego Herrera. What a ride, huh?
Oh my gosh. And that was my best bet of the day, and it hinged on a pick 3. It hinged on winning the pick 5. It hinged on my win and place bet. It was my whole day. And if I lost that race, Jim, we wouldn't be celebrating right now.
And I'm going to have a sip of my Budweiser right now while we're doing it. But no, I think that's great. And that kid, Diego Herrera, we're talking about him, he's really a good rider. He doesn't get many mounts. He's very under the radar, gets the weight allowance. And
I thought it was really interesting that the horse was 7-1 when they closed the gates. And when he went out of the gates and I was watching, it went to 4-1. So those guys made a killing. Those Los Al guys, the Ruiz Herrera connection family. Who are those owners again?
Beloit, I believe, was the name of the ownership group in partnership with Lorenzo Ruiz, the trainer. How much money do you think was bet right there in the last minute or so to lower those odds that much?
Anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 probably lowers it from 7-1 to 4-1.
And that's just in the win pool, obviously. Yeah.
That's just in the win pool.
That's amazing, isn't it, boy? Well, that was a great win, and I know, boy, you hit the early pick 5. And
it hinged, my whole day hinged. Now, that's not the smartest thing to do. To if you lose one race that you key a bunch of different bets on, unless it's your best bet of the day and you're willing to do it, but it's normally not best practice, is what I'm saying. You don't really want to hinge a bunch of bets on losing one race.
But let me ask you this though, like when you structured your early pick five ticket, I mean, you hit that pick five, which I think it paid 515 and change or something to that effect. But you won that on a pretty modest ticket. And your win bet on Win Often was the name of the horse, was pretty similar to your pick five investment, if I believe. Is that right?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do as a bettor now is my pick fives, I have to bet the same amount that I bet on the pick five to win or place on a horse, or maybe a win place, or I'll bet an exacta too, because that's really the profits on exactas are incredible. So I'll try to balance out my day. If I'm going to bet two pick fives in one day and one costs $100 and another one costs 54, I'm going to have to bet $154 on exactas and win and place, because those are the type of bets that will get me back to where I'm winning every day.
I see.
Because you don't always win the pick five. So
that's good strategy. And and I think we talked earlier today about the fact that it takes some sufficient time to create the bet structure just in one race, much less a full card of 8 or 9 races.
Oh yeah, I scratched down some races to tell you guys today or tonight on this great Thanksgiving night. But I don't know exactly how much I'm going to bet on each horse. I don't know exactly how I'm going to structure the exacta bet yet. But I can give you guys a good feel, because I did a lot of work.
Good. You got some good nuggets for him. He's been working hard on this for him. And I also did want to reiterate what Wild Bill said earlier, that for our audience, that you can go to our website and subscribe, free subscription, and you get complimentary $25 of Spellbound loot, which you can use toward any package. And our package through the weekend is, horse racing is $13 through Sunday, and as well college and NFL through Sunday. That's all plays for horses and football are each $13. So basically your loot covers that. So it's basically a complimentary thing. And
yeah, and we urge you guys, I know we're late on the video. We should have had this 2 days ago. But guys, take advantage of this, because we have 3 more days of winning, and we've been winning.
Because there's some really good college football this weekend, as usual, as we're winding the season down before championship week. And as I mentioned before, it's my favorite college football weekend, with the rivalry games are just incredible, really exciting. And and I did want to say also that in our segment tonight, that I wanted to pass along on our segment tonight, and we'll put these on the website, but I got a couple really good college football nuggets for tomorrow we want to pass along to our viewers a little later.
Those are greatly appreciated nuggets, Jesse.
Some nuggets. So we hope they turn into nuggets, and I think there's a good chance they will. And but like I say, I was up late working on that. It's so amazing in this college football how, with all the hype about Oklahoma and Texas are going to be moving to the SEC conference, and, or Texas has lost 5 games in a row, and they're playing Kansas State tomorrow. And, I really feel sorry for Steve Sarkisian, their coach. I think he's really a good coach, and it just, you got to wonder if that has some impact mentally on the team and motivationally. It has to have some bearing on it, although it's a good move for them going to the SEC, financially for the school. And I mean, I certainly understand the reason for it, But boy, it's tough on those kids. You got 19, 20-year-old kids in college that are playing on their scholarship, and we're moving here, moving there, and our coaches are changing, and all the coaching changes we've talked about. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's go back to horses for a minute. Like, how does the Del Mar slate look tomorrow?
Well, no, I just wanted to go back to what you were just saying. That football game. What should I lean towards, or what should I get out of that? I mean, I know you have detail. You have so much detail. But
I think on that game tomorrow, with Kansas State, who I think is really a good program, and Texas is a moderate favorite tomorrow. And that game, let me look at the time. That game goes at 9:00 Pacific tomorrow, so they're kicking it early our time tomorrow.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Texas is 3-point favorite. And I guess there's two ways to look at that game. I mean, it's a tough handicap. My lean is definitely Kansas State, the Wildcats, because I think they've played pretty solid this year, and Texas is just, God, they've just been beaten into the ground the last 5 games, and certainly they've played tough competition, no doubt about it. But I just question their motivation. It's hard for me to get to the window with teams where I question their motivation. So
Yeah.
my lean is taking the Wildcats plus the 3, and maybe if you wait, you could get 3.5, because it's going to be a battle.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. It might be a stay off. It might be a stay off game for
it
you.
could be a stay off. I think there's better bets on the card. And
Right.
the other one I wanted to mention in the early segment tomorrow is a MAC game, Mid-American Conference game, of the directional Michigan schools of Eastern Michigan visiting Central Michigan. And, as most of you all know, Eastern Michigan, they play up there in Ypsilanti, right outside of Ann Arbor. They're like the little brother of the Michigan Wolverines. And we'll get to them later, who I love. I'm a fan of Michigan Wolverines, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, in Ypsilanti, Eastern, they play on the gray artificial turf. It's such a weird field there in Ypsilanti, and they've been playing great. They've been winning and exceeding their expectations. They snuck by with a 1-point win last week, and then they go to Central Michigan to play the Chippewas tomorrow. And it just seems to me that the Chippewas, they got this quarterback, Daniel Richardson. He's really good. And Ben Bryant's the quarterback for Eastern Michigan, and he's 50-50. He's okay, but talent-wise, the Chippewas have it all over them. The line's a bit higher than I'd like to see it for that reason, because, they're, again, the odds makers. I mean, they got the same information we all do. So, it's up there 8, 8.5. 8 is really, you can find at most outlets. But boy, I got to think Central Michigan, because the way these MAC games, they score points like crazy. And I think Central Michigan's a really good look in that 9:00 Pacific game in the morning.
Wow. What a great tip, Jim.
The
And
Chippewas.
especially from a guy that's like 10-2 in the last 2 days. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been a good run. Yeah, so the Chippewas and a big win would be nice.
And we love Thanksgiving Day. I hope everyone had a great family dinner and was able to give or receive and, just enjoy.
Absolutely. And, and I on the NFL today, obviously we had the triple header today. It was crazy with the Detroit Lions, Bears back and forth mayhem. And Detroit, getting the penalty with the double timeout they called. And I mean, that poor Dan Campbell, that coach of Detroit, they haven't won a game all year. They got one tie against the Steelers. And I mean, I watched his post-game press conference after that. They lose by the last second field goal or whatever. And again, and he's just without words. He just can't hardly speak. He's just like, God, we just, we're calling timeouts, and a lot of it's on him too. I mean, it's not the players totally,
That over under was pretty comical in that game, huh?
Oh, that 41 and a half. And, it looks so low for an NFL game, which that's certainly low, but 16-14, I mean, no contest to going over. It was never in jeopardy of going over. And,
Totally.
that's where sometimes, whether it's college or pro in football, sometimes that line's low for a reason.
Yeah.
And you can't be afraid to bet an under on a low total or an over on a high total.
Totally.
And certainly it depends on the game, but that was a good example. You're right of that today with the 41 and a half. And gosh, it almost looks like, gosh, well, NFL game, they're going to score more than 41 and a half points.
Yeah.
It was never in doubt.
That's the general public right there, where they call them the squares, where so I'm a UCLA graduate, and I would want to bet on UCLA, even if they're a horrible team against USC. I'll put $500 to win on UCLA when they've had the worst season in the last 20 years, in the years past. And what's so funny about that bet is you get so many points, and that rivalry between USC, UCLA, it always comes down to, like, this year was a blowout, but a lot of times those teams that you don't think in those rivalries, you have to bet differently, I would believe. Am I right about saying that?
Without a doubt, you're 100% right. Because there's the situational and then emotional aspect has such a big bearing on those games. I mean, you're 100% right on that. And you got to, and to add on to what you're saying, that's really hard for the lines maker, the odds maker, to factor into the spread of which way to go on that emotional aspect. So that's where we bettors can get an edge. And again, like you say, that's why we try to pass along, those nuggets when we can come up with them to our audience. And
totally,
that's a great point.
Well, I think you gave them some great tips, and y'all, I'm not from Texas, but I'm going to say y'all.
That's okay.
Y'all ready for some horse racing tips for Del Mar?
Yeah, let's go to Del Mar, and then we'll go back to horse racing, because I got one other game I want to mention. Let's go to do a little horse racing.
Yeah, let's do the horse racing, because the first race, I never give away a 2-to-1 morning line, but I saw the race replay, and it's a mile and a 16th turf, and the horse is named Red Storm Rising. And he had trouble. He was pulled, had no room. He was at the rail. He went 5 wide and rallied. And the latest workouts are super on this horse. So I'm going to play pretty big on Red Storm Rising to win. The third race, I'm going to go to the third, because I didn't really want to give you the second. I didn't like the second.
Good. See that? I got to interrupt for a minute. See, that's the mark of a good bettor. If you don't like the race, skip it. Pass.
If I'm playing a pick 5 or something, I'd probably play all, or I'd probably throw out 3 horses that I know can't win, or something like that. But anyways, race 3, it's a 5 furlong turf. I think it's like a maiden 50. I didn't write it down, but it's something to the effect where these horses haven't won yet. It's a maiden race. I think it's maiden 50. And Urban, it looks like the horse can't get the 5 furlongs and get there in time. But I'm telling you, the workouts and what I'm seeing on this development of this horse, I really like Urban to win in race 3. Then Champagne Cami, it's an invader horse, ran at Belmont, and very good, and I do think that horse is also working really well, and I like to see that for fitness. And they all both fit on being the best numbers. If you're a numbers guy, if you want to know the times of the race, that fits as well. So I'm probably going to play Urban over Champagne Cami. So it's the 10 over the 6, and I'll bet that pretty heavy, and then I'll go lighter just to get my money back or win $20 or something on the 6-10. But I'm going to kind of go heavy on the 10-6.
As
And I'm
as
still
opposed to a straight box, because you're going to get a lot more value because you like the 10 way better.
exactly. And when you bet Urban, I want you to put win in place on, because I don't want you to get caught up in just playing the exacta. I want you to play a safety bet on, because it's 4-1 on the morning line. I think you can still get decent place money.
Yeah.
On that horse.
Good. That's good odds. Yes. Agreed.
But it depends. You guys have to watch the tote board at the end and see if it's worth putting place on Urban.
Uh-huh.
You know, if they bet him to 8-5, then just bet win.
Exactly.
But I don't know what's going to happen.
Right. Exactly. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Great point.
Race 5. I really like this horse. It's a 5-furlong turf race. The horse's name is Rookie Mistake. And that horse has been closing and running against horses that I respect. And again, I don't think they're going to think that horse will get there. That's why he's 6-1 on the line. But the way I see it, I see quality there. I see the fact that that horse can get there. If he gets a clean trip, he can get there. And that's what I think on race 5. I mean, that's a 6-1 win in place bet. Race 5.
Okay, race 5. Uh-huh. Good analysis. I like that. You know, I like how you split that exactly, though, where you'll play it heavier one way versus the other way. You know, where your preference is the 10 horse in the other race.
Yeah, and that way you can kill it. So let's say you only have $30.
Yeah.
You could try to kill it for 25 times straight.
Right.
And then play it $5 the other way. And if you're unlucky, you still make $20 or whatever.
Right.
But if you hit it, you make 400.
Yeah, that's a nice return. See, isn't that nice for a $25 investment? You can potentially make 400.
Yeah.
You can't do that betting football and basketball.
No, and you can't really do it with a box either. A $15 box probably would do some damage, but it's not the same time of damage you can do. Let's say you had $100 to bet on the exacta, and you bet it 80 times one way and 20 times the other.
Uh-huh.
You're not gonna lose your $80 if it comes in the other way. You're gonna win some money. But if it hits the 80 times, well, now you can go home with 1,500 or 1,000, you know, or whatever that exacta is. So
for sure. God, that's some valuable info. That's so good, that bet structure analysis. That's so good. And you know, and that's a constant process for you or anybody that's a handicapper or a bettor. I mean, that's every race is different. I mean, you got to think that through every race.
Now the 9th race, my last one, I have to tell you about. I don't really bet Ron Ellis. Not that I don't like him. I think he's a good train. I mean, you know, he does what he does. But so he's got this horse, Bowl of Cherries, in the 9th, and it's a mile turf. This horse was a length off Boogaroo Alley in a sprint. I watched all the race replays. Zero Tolerance was right there with Zero Tolerance, and you guys know how good Zero Tolerance is, right? Everyone knows how good Zero Tolerance is. And it looks like the filly wants to go longer, just by watching the race replays. Ellis is 18% going from sprint to route. I think he can do it. I think he can do it. And my bet on the 9th race is Bowl of Cherries.
What's the morning line?
He might even be the only speed.
Oh, uh-huh.
It's a mile turf. 6-1. 6-1.
Oh, okay, good.
And I would bet it. I'd probably bet a win in place. I'm suspect about the mile, but he's a closer at 6 furlongs, and I think the mile's no problem for the horse.
Uh-huh.
and he's running next to really fast splits. So I think he might even take the lead and hold on, because I don't think the horse is going to get tired.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Making notes on this on my sheet here.
and I don't even remember the last time I bet an Ellis horse.
Yeah. It's hard to pick your spots with him, kind of.
Yeah,
Like you say, he's not a bad trainer. You just got to really be judicious when you play him.
yeah, exactly. So, all right, so we should wrap up tonight, right? Everyone
Yeah, I
wants.
want to mention another football game for tomorrow. This is a Friday game, and then obviously we got the full slate on Saturday. Last Saturday of regular college football. And then we're in the championship week, but there's a game in 12:30 Pacific goes tomorrow. Missouri, the Missouri Tigers are playing the Arkansas Razorbacks tomorrow at Arkansas, and this game really stands out. And I guess all of you probably know me by now. I hate laying a lot of points. I rarely do it. And the Razorbacks are 14.5, 15-point favorites, depending on where you're shopping. But Missouri's coming off that game with the Florida Gators, and everybody knows their story this year. They've just fired their coach and a couple assistants, and they've just been awful. Missouri beats them, and Missouri's been awful all year. I mean, their defense is terrible, and they lost against the spread like 12 straight games against the spread, or some ridiculous number. And they beat Florida last week, so that's just amazing. But Sam Pittman, former Georgia assistant coach, is the head coach at Arkansas, and they started out the year like gangbusters. I mean, they got good players. He's done a great job recruiting, and I really see a big effort out of Arkansas tomorrow. And Missouri was, even though they won the game against Florida last week, Florida outgained them by like 300 yards, total yards for the game, which is an incredible statistic, and still lose the game. So we really think 12:30 Pacific, the Arkansas Razorbacks are a good one to look at. And then there's a big game that we'll have something on our website about, the Apple Cup, with Washington State versus Washington, Huskies versus the Cougars. And that'll be an interesting game, which is pretty much a pick'em game either way. So we'll have something on our website about that. But visit us at spellboundwagers.com. Take advantage of the Spellbound loot, free $25 toward any package. And follow us on Twitter at WildBillMoney and at Director JJ29. And we sure appreciate you all being with us, and hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Closing comments, Wild Bill?
Yeah, the biggest thing is family and friends and Thanksgiving, and this whole betting and betting sports is secondary. And I know you all know that, but that's the most important thing is family and friends, and having a great day to get today as a family togetherness. So good luck tomorrow, and I'll stop being so sentimental. And tomorrow we'll just go straight to just wagering.
It's a good blend. No, it's a good blend of the two. You're right. Well said.
Good night, guys.
Good night, all. Thank you.